All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you why. Uh, I'm going to show you the difference between YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Oftentimes, I get people, they get caught up and they get obsessed with like a certain platform. And I just want to show some numbers and some statistics. And I want to show people why I typically suggest other platforms like Facebook, like YouTube. They might be old or not the trend, but these platforms are profitable if you're a business owner. And I want to show you some stats on why they matter and give you some context. So let's switch over to the screen. Right, so these are some reports that I've been doing some research. These are some reports that I pulled from Pew Research Center, and I pulled from Statista. They are both sites that report data, and they report statistics. Y'all know I love numbers, I love data, I love statistics. Right, so right here, this is the year 2021. It's about as recent as you're gonna get. Right, and you can see here, right, it says a majority of Americans say they use YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Snapchat and TikTok is especially common among adults under 20, right? So here's the thing, right? These are, I want you to think about this demographic, the under 30 demographic, right? Because it's popular, right? It's trending, like people under 30, right? But think about that demographic. And if you're a little bit older, like maybe think about yourself when you were about 30 years old, right? And what I mean by that is think about your mindset, right? And think about your financial situation, right? When you were 30 years old, you probably didn't have a lot of money, right? You probably weren't willing to spend money, right? You probably really weren't willing to like educate, like to spend money on like education outside of the typical school stuff, right? So I want you to keep in mind that number when you're thinking about those other platforms, when you're thinking about the TikTok, when you're thinking about the Instagram, the Snapchat. It's like, oh my God, it's so popular, all of the kids are there, right? Well, yeah, this proves that the kids are there, but do those kids have money? Right. So this is one of the reasons why I'm always pushing and suggesting that people go with other platforms, right? That you go with, like we see here, right here on this graph, like YouTube, 81, right? The percentage of people that use YouTube, 81%. The percentage of adults that use Facebook, 69%. And then there's a significant drop all the way down where you see Instagram drops all the way down, right? So there's a lot going on. Oh, TikTok famous. I'm getting all these views, these millions of views, and it's like it's a lot of popularity and there's a lot of trends going on TikTok, on Instagram. That stuff is cool, right? But is it profitable? Is it going to help you make money, right? Is it going to help you as a business owner? It's cool and it's trendy, but we have to be um, I like to be logical here. Is it ideal for us to be on those platforms, right? Just because it's popular. Right here, if we go back to the screen, right here, we see that significant drop. And I have a instructor that comes and teaches us YouTube, like for real estate people. And he always talks about like how YouTube is double the audience of Instagram. And this graph here has proved that. This graph here proves exactly that the YouTube demographic is double that of Instagram, right? So think about it. Like you see that YouTube and Facebook, these are two. Ideally, these are the platforms that I make the most money from. Right? They might be old, they might be whatever we want to call it, but you can still do really well on sticking to one of these platforms. Uh, Look, Instagram, it drops so significantly down to Instagram, and TikTok is even further down. So a lot of people are like hyper and really excited about TikTok, but TikTok isn't even doing as well as Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn. Right? It's fairly new and not a lot of people are using it. So I'm not saying don't use it, but just keep in mind when you're thinking about this, right? Where's your largest audience? They're on YouTube, they're in Facebook. And one of the things I like about Facebook, I typically tell people, is that Facebook has groups. So they have groups around your particular niche, your particular subject. The rest of the platforms don't really have those kind of groups. So you can do really well using Facebook, using Instagram. I'm sorry, using YouTube. Now, next I want to show you here. So I just wanted to show this graph really quickly. This graph just shows the percentages in more detail like we looked at before, right? So just keep in mind, again, when you're hype about those popular trends, keep in mind that are you on social media to have fun or are you on social media to do business? Those are two different objectives. And I'm not saying that you can't do both or have one or the other, but just keep that in mind. I would much rather go after the larger pool and the larger audience than the smaller pool and the smaller audience, because also think about the demographic, right? Right? And I'm talking to real estate professionals, right? So think about the demographic. They're 30 and under for the most part. Do they own houses? No. Who owns the houses? The older people, right? Who do you want to help buy, and those older people. So just keep that in mind. They own the houses, they have the money. Right? Now let's go over to Statista. So this is they're showing the popularity of social media here. And again, so it's telling us right here that Facebook is the most popular by active users, right? And these numbers are about 1 million. It's saying that Facebook is the most popular, and then we got YouTube as a I'm not gonna say close, but a moderate second place, right? And then we got WhatsApp, and then we got Instagram all the way down there. So right, so the data is proven. Again, same result, right? Instagram is half of YouTube. Instagram is half of Facebook, right? And where's TikTok? TikTok is even less than Instagram. So this is why, right? I'm like, don't get hyper. Don't get caught up in the hype, right? Pay attention to numbers, data, and statistics. And these are two well-respected sites, well-established sites that do a ton of research on these sites, right? That are proving the numbers here. So don't get caught up in the hype. This is why I often suggest that you stick to YouTube, you stick to Facebook, because these platforms, Instagram, TikTok, they're all trendy and they're all fun, right? But we're not going to make as much money on those platforms as we make on YouTube and Facebook, right? So this is not for everybody. This is for my business owners, right? This is for my business owners and my clients that I'm typically talking to, right? So if you're not a business owner, you're not an entrepreneur, that's fine. You want to go do TikTok and play on those platforms, make those your main platforms, that's great. But I'm talking to the people that are here, that are serious, and that are trying to make money, right? We see that significant difference on the platforms, right? Like YouTube has double Instagram, and then Facebook has about what 66% or more. Like it's just, I don't know, my math might be off, but just keep that in mind when you're getting caught up and you're worried about that hype on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and some of the other newer platforms, right? So I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the other side. Bye bye.